What's up, guys? I'm back. I'm back here in a video today. Okay, folks. So I'm back here in a video today, obviously. So right now, I'm gonna be doing another album review for some metal music and stuff. Like just one, folks. So the band I got here is um the band I got here is Possessed and stuff, and the album I got here is of the legendary debut album Seven Churches and stuff. Like just one, folks. This is just great. So, folks, talking about this band Possessed, I feel like they need no introduction in the metal world. Like obviously, with this album I got here, Seven Churches is like known as like, if you guys obviously know, this is a big debate with this album and Scream Bloody Gore, obviously, for like first death metal album, and this band Possessed is obviously like known as like one of the first death metal bands, if not the first, by a lot of people, and all of that stuff, and one, folks. And from what I'm reading here, they were formed in 1983 and stuff in California, obviously. Like, just one, folks. This is great. So, folks, obviously for this album, Seven Churches was released in 1985 and stuff, and one, folks, and all of that stuff, and obviously Possessed from California, like band, obviously, and like the only other California band that I know released a debut album in 1985. Like I know they're not no in like the death metal world. But the only other California band that I know for sure released a debut album in 1985 was Exodus. But like, if you guys know, they're obviously not a death metal band. But I do know that they had a debut album called Bonded by Blood. And obviously that's like thrash metal, obviously. Like just one, folks. So if we're going over band members on this album, the only guy in the band I know by name is Jeff Becerra, and he's the guy on the vocals, and one, folks, and he also is on the bass too. But for the guitar players, we got Mike Torero and Larry Lalonde and stuff. Like, that's what I'm reading here. We also got the drummer and Mike Suss and stuff, and one, folks, and all of that stuff. This is great. So, folks, I do know for sure this album has a song called Death Metal and stuff, and like based off that alone, I read something online. I don't remember when this was. I don't remember when I read this, but I remember reading something months ago. We'll say that Jeff Becerra came up with the name Death Metal in a high school um assignment that he had. Like, and from what I remember reading, it was for like an English class or whatever in high school that he had. Like, it was for like high school assignment, and I remember reading something like along the lines of that, or something like one, folks. Like I said, I don't remember when I read this. Like, it had to have been months ago, I'll say. Like, just one, folks. So now it's time for my thoughts on the album and what I thought of it. So let's go over the music style and what I noticed. So what I noticed that like this album is like on the heavier side of thrash metal. Like it's obviously like this album is obviously regards like first death metal album, obviously, or like one of we'll say, and it's definitely on the heavier side of thrash and like lots of fast playing and also plenty of groove parts and like it definitely has death metal elements from what I noticed, and obviously with Jeff Becerra and his vocals, I noticed is like more like beginning of like I guess growling vocals. I guess like what no folks like to me this album definitely laid the blueprint for like death metal and stuff. Same with Scream Let It Go too, but there's obviously like the whole debate on like if you guys obviously know debate for first death metal album. Like you guys already know that by now, obviously, but anyways and stuff and so overall, I definitely enjoyed the album. Like if we're talking about influence, obviously like this album's there with the influence and all of that stuff and obviously plenty of black bands got influenced by this album. Like some of the bands I feel like were influenced by this album and just put this band Possessed in general. Bands like Morbid Angel. I can hear some elements of like Chrysian being involved, like being influenced. And those like the two main bands I can think of. Like I'm sure there's like plenty of other bands, but those are the first two that I can think of and stuff. Like just one, folks, and also Death too, obviously, because I do know Jeff Becerra and Chuck were like really good friends and stuff. Like based off from what I've read online and all of that stuff. So for going over some of my favorite tracks on the album, I'd say some of my favorite tracks are The Exorcist and Satan's Curse. But overall, legendary album from start to finish, and right now is basically when I'm going to be ending today's video off. Like I don't want to go any further with today's video. Like I simply don't, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. And peace out, everybody.